The Truth About Lord Stoneville by Sabrina Jeffries. Prologue. Oliver Sharp, 16-year-old heir to the Marquis of Stoneville, left the stables at Halstead Hall with his heart in his throat. His mother had ridden off toward the hunting lodge in a fury, and Oliver rarely saw her like that. Mostly she was just sad, unless something monumental set her off, like finding her son acting in the basest fashion imaginable. Mortification swamped him. "You're a disgrace to this family," she'd cried, in a voice of sickened betrayal. "You're behaving exactly like your father, and I'll be damned if I let him turn you into the same wicked, selfish creature as he is, sacrificing anyone to his pleasure." Oliver had never heard his mother curse, and the fact that he had driven her to do so chilled him. Was she right about him? Was he becoming just like his careless and debauched sire? The very thought made his stomach roil. Worse yet, she was now riding out to lay his sins at his father's door, and Oliver couldn't stop her since she'd ordered him to stay out of her sight. But someone had to go after her. The only other time he'd seen her in a rage was when she'd first discovered his father's infidelity, when Oliver was 7. She'd set fire to father's collection of erotic books in the courtyard. God only knew what damage she would wreak now that she believed her son was following in her father's footsteps, especially now with the house party in full swing. As Oliver rounded the walls of the semi-fortified manor that was their country home, he spotted a familiar carriage coming up the drive, and his heart leapt. Gran? Thank God she'd arrived. Mother might actually listen to her own mother. "Well, now isn't this a pleasure and a surprise?" she said with a warm smile as she stepped down. "I'm glad to see you've not lost your courtly manners, like some young rascals your age." Normally he'd make a witty retort, and he and Gran would spar a little, all in good fun. But he couldn't manage it, not today, not with fear riding him. "Mother's angry with father." Offering his arm to escort her around the house, he kept his voice low. The servants mustn't hear. Half the world already gossiped about father's infidelities. No need to feed the sharks more chum. "Well, that's nothing new, is it?" Grandmother said dryly. "This time it's different. She's in a rage. She and I quarreled, and she rode off toward the hunting lodge alone." "Probably looking for him." I don't know why I'm giving her a southern accent. "Probably looking for him." "That's what I'm afraid of. You know how he likes to bait her. If he's there, she's liable to do anything." "Good." She flashed an arch smile. "Perhaps she'll destroy that wretched lodge, then Louis will have nowhere to take his little whores." "Blast it, Gran, I'm serious." When she lifted an eyebrow at his language, he bit back an oath. "Forgive me, but this isn't like usual. You have to go after her, talk to her, calm her down. It's important. She won't listen to me." Her eyes narrowed. "Is there something you're not telling me?" He colored. "Of course not." "Don't lie to your grandmother. What was your quarrel with your mother about?" How could he tell her? He cringed every time he thought of it. "It doesn't matter. Just believe me when I say she needs you." Gran snorted. "Your mother hasn't needed me from the day she was born." "But Gran—" "See here, Oliver," she said, patting his hand as if he were some child. "I know you're close to your mother, and it upsets you to see her angry. But if you give her time alone to let her anger run its course, she'll be fine, I swear." "No, you've got to—" "Enough," she snapped. "It's been a long, hard trip, and I'm tired, and I need a cup of tea and a good nap. I'm in no mood to involve myself in your parents' quarrels." At his look of depression, she softened her tone. "If she hasn't returned by nightfall, I promise I'll go after her. You'll see. She'll be back long before then, full of apologies, and this will all be forgotten." But his mother never returned. That night at the hunting lodge, she shot his father and then herself, and Oliver's life was never the same. That's The Truth About Lord Stoneville by Sabrina Jeffries. I hope you enjoyed this edition of First Page Friday, recommended book, and thank you very much for joining me in the reading of it.